Chelsea Football Club's never boring, is it? All of a sudden, the restrictions that UEFA gave us, not only last year, next year as well. Matt Law confirms it. Furthermore, the board, they're not very happy with Enzo Maresca. Don't say I didn't warn you. Dig after dig, dig after dig. It won't be tolerated. Not my words, Matt Law's words. And finally, Chelsea Football Club have done something that I personally do not like. I believe you look after the fans. I believe the fans are the heartbeat of the team. I believe if you're going to increase prices, at least let the prices be realistic. We need to talk about it because £83 for Benfica versus Chelsea, you're bluffing. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about it. But before we get started, number one, hit that like button. It's the best way you can support me. You tell YouTube, this is a good channel, come back here. Do it now. We're aiming for 1,000. Be kind. Number two, subscribe if you like Chelsea related news on a daily basis almost. Broken down, concise, 15 minutes, you're in and you're out. Done deal. It's like a halftime show. And finally, there's a hype button. Not all of you have it, some of you have it. If you're kind enough to hear it, apparently it does wonders and promotes the video. So I appreciate that. Let's get it cracking. Welcome to the Kavkas View, bratuchki. Let's get into the first story. Listen, a lot of you know Chelsea were under financial restrictions last year from UEFA, right? Basically, Chelsea have got two restrictions set up on them. Number one, they need to work towards a 70% ratio. Meaning, what they make in revenue, they can only spend 70% of it. That is UEFA's fair play, right? Financial fair play. That's the first thing. For the next 4 years, they need to get down to that level of 70%. So the wages need to come down, the revenue needs to go up. Anyway, anyhow, they need to make that work. The other one was they need to break even for 2 transfer windows. Last year was done. This year, coming up, apparently, is still going to be active. So that is going to be a constraint moving forward. A lot of you are going to say, why are you telling me this? Well, last year, we missed out on Xavi Simons for that reason. Chelsea wanted Xavi Simons. Don't let it get twisted. Chelsea had constraints, they had to delay the deal, they couldn't sell the players they wanted to, and guess what? Because of that, they had to miss out on Xavi Simons, who would have been very helpful. However, and this is the key, why am I saying this? Next year, a lot of you are going to say, well, just sell Jackson, that's going to be 60 million. Sterling, Disasi, no, they don't count. The players that count under the rules that UEFA put on us are the players that are in the UEFA squad. So let that sink in. The players that are going to play in the UEFA squad are the ones that count. So next year, when we want to buy players and we want to balance the books, we can buy them, but they just can't play in the Champions League if we make the Champions League. That sucks. Whether you like it or not, that is a huge problem. That is a massive problem that I think people aren't realizing. Because think about it, right? If you decide to sell Tosin, no problem. Tosin's going for 20 million at most. Tosin ain't going for more than 20 million. Chalobah, what's Chalobah going to go for? 25, 30? Stuff like that is baby change. And then you have to replace those players. So what, you're going to replace them with 20, 25 million pound players? That's not improving the squad. The likelihood is you're not even going sideways. You're going backwards with stuff like that. So the key now is, what are they going to sell? Think about it logically. I don't want to cause panic. I don't want to cause hysteria. I just want you to think logically. Who? Andre Santos, Caicedo, Enzo. I don't think there are 4 players that are going to get sold. Cuckoo won't get sold, Caicedo won't get sold, James won't get sold, and Palmer, and maybe Colwell. They're the 5 I think that are untouchable. Everyone else is on the market. Everyone else, if the right price comes in, they'll get sold. I'm not saying this to say we're going to sell these players. I'm saying next year, for us to do business and improve the squad, we need to appease these constraints, and that is a problem. And Matt Law literally put me in a bad mood when he said this today. I listened to it twice. I rewound and listened to it just to make sure that I got the communication across to all of you. In the comments below, do you think this is as big of a problem as Matt Law is saying, or do you think the squad is big enough and the players that we've already brought in is more than enough for us to make this work? The other story that he spoke about is the digs that Enzo Maresca's been taking. A lot of you have been telling me, Alex, you're stirring the pot. I'm not stirring the pot. I don't stir pots. I tell you what it is. I give you the story. I tell you what I think, and you run and make your own opinion. I don't enforce my opinion on anyone. What I say is my opinions. What you say is your opinions. We're adults, and some of you are soon to be adults. So the reality is, let's be adults, talk. We don't agree with each other, so be it. It's about talking to each other in a respectful manner. What is the next news? Matt Law basically said Enzo Maresca's digs are causing a problem for himself. The club will not tolerate. They will not allow coaches and managers to have the right in their head to come out publicly and defy it. And for me, This is normal. When you have an employer, you don't go in public and say all the naughty stuff that they've been doing behind closed doors to you, in the sense that you're not happy with this, they're making you work overtime, this is unacceptable, that is unacceptable, I'm not getting my 1 hour break, I've got too much work, the resources are madness. All that doesn't get brought up because you could get fired. Maresca, on the other hand, has come out and moaned about the striker. Then he's actively not played the striker that he said is the only one he has. Then he's moaned about the centre-half. Then he pretended he loves the centre-halves, only now not to play the centre-half. It is an absolute salad. You know that one? When you're dashing bare stuff into a salad and you're not making it work. They're not going to tolerate this. The problem here is you've got two camps forming within the Chelsea segment. There's the segment that say, this is what we need to do, shout out to CB, to make Chelsea great again. And if we don't do it, we are not going to become great again. And you know what? I absolutely get it. I want experienced players too. However, there's the other aspect in me, the adult, right? The part where I'm thinking is a professional corporate entity. I'm not thinking as a Chelsea football club because they're not Chelsea football club anymore. And I think people need to accept that. Once you accept that, honestly, it becomes a lot easier to start understanding their decisions. Because at the moment, I don't agree with their decisions. I really don't. We all know what direction I would take the club. However, I'm not in charge. I'm just a YouTuber sitting there behind Paradise and Eden Hazard over there, right? I name my plants. The other aspect is they just don't want someone that's not on the same page with them. Tuchel got sacked for that. Poch got sacked for that. Do you think Maresca's not going to get sacked for that? Of course he is. He needs to shut his mouth and just do the job that he accepted. No one else told him to take this job. He wanted this job. He was offered it. He said, I'll take it. He won a Carabao Cup. He won a Conference League. And now just do what you're doing because you got a good enough squad. Maybe not to win the league. No one's saying that. You have a good enough squad to make top 4. It's as simple as that. A lot of people on this channel know I am very fair when it comes to the club and the club's pricing of tickets, right? The problem is when I hear stories like the one that broke today and you got the Chelsea Supporters Trust coming out very vocal and unhappy. You've got articles being written about the categorization of certain Champions League games. You start to realize that they're taking a piss. And in my opinion, this is them passing costs down to the fans that they are missing out in terms of not securing a sponsorship. And Matt Law, once again, this interview was brilliant, by the way. The information, the nuggets he was given was absolutely amazing. I'm not even, I'm not sponsored by them. The Londoners Blue podcast blocked me on Twitter. They think I'm toxic and negative. It is what it is. But I'll still listen because whenever Matt Law's there, I listen. Everything else I don't watch. It's out to you lot. But Matt Law drops nuggets, Ben Jacobs drops nuggets, and you need to watch it. The problem here is, what he said is actually very interesting. Well, what he said is, Chelsea haven't got a sponsor yet. One of the reasons he thinks, allegedly, is because when Chelsea get the fine for the self-reported crimes that they're getting punished for, no sponsor wants to be on that. You don't want to be associated with negative press like that. So that's one of the things that makes it hard. The other aspect here is Chelsea Football Club now have changed the category of the games for Benfica to AA, meaning tickets are £83. £83 to go watch Chelsea Benfica. If you're from America, you're most probably sitting there and thinking, that's cheap. What are you moaning about? The problem is, our sports culture in the UK and the American sports culture is completely different. It is wildly priced differently. Chelsea games used to be very affordable. I used to be able to go to a Chelsea game for £36. £36. 50 was expensive. You know what I mean? But even now, right? The tickets have gone crazy. Category A games, AA, £83 for Benfica is wild. You're pricing out the working class fan. And what's happening to our sport is it's becoming upper middle class or rich fan. And for me, whilst it's supply and demand, you can't do that. It's not right. The problem is, that's my emotion speaking. From a business sense, what they're looking at it as, we are American owners. The Boston Celtics playoff tickets cost around about $500, $300, depending on what type of game it is. This is a Champions League game. We're charging you big bucks. And for me, what I'm going to say is buckle up, guys. Because 83 is going to look like a discount in a few years' time. Look at what people were paying for Club World Cup prices. The dynamic pricing was eventually bringing it down. However, there were certain people paying $500, $600, $700. And if you think this won't continue, let me just go on a little soliloquy. The other day, WWE came to Birmingham. My boys and I wanted to go. I'm a huge WWE fan. Love it. Absolutely adore it. We saw the prices. £275 for the nosebleeds. That's an American company. Their pricing market isn't people like me. You know them ones. People that just, they're not, it's not me. They want someone that's gonna come there, buy a foam finger, eat some food, spend some money. Next thing you know, they spend around about $400. I go into the game, I watch the game, mum's life, I have a beer before outside, I don't buy nothing in the stadium, I support the team, I cheer the team on, I don't put my eyes away from the pitch, and that's it. I am not the fan they're trying to attract. And I accepted that. But I don't think others have, and I don't think it's right on those other people. Personally, I think this is bang out of order. £83 is a rip-off, man. Benfica Chelsea is not worth £83. I can't believe they have the jurisdiction, the gratitude, the attitude to put it as £83. It's wild to me. However, it is what it is. Put your comments in the descriptions. Let me know your thoughts. Peace out. I'm out. Bye.